So now that the 2025 NBA regular season is over, we saw every single 2024 draft picks rookie year. I want to react to my 2024 draft grades that happened right after the 2024 draft ended. And these are always fun to look back on. I'm going to just kind of disagree with what I said at the time, and some of these takes are going to age well. Some of these are going to age very poorly, but I think I like to hold myself accountable, maybe see what I evaluated wrong, or maybe why I gave this arbitrary grade what I did at that time, because so much has changed over the last year now that we got to see 50 plus games, or at least some action from these guys in their first year. So yeah, I pretty much recorded right after this draft ended, and I live streamed for 3 hours. So make sure you are subscribed, because we will definitely be live streaming the 2025 NBA draft. And let's just get into this. We're going to start things off with the Atlanta Hawks and the #1 overall pick. It was weird that Alex Sarr, who was my top prospect in this draft, a lot of outlets' top prospect, didn't even work out with the Atlanta Hawks, who had the #1 overall pick. We're still not really sure why. So they ended up going Zachary Reese-Shea, the forward out of JL Berg. And over the last couple of years, like Wemby in 23, Paolo in 22, Cade in 21, and in 20, I give the #1 overall pick a really good letter grade. But this time, I'm going to give it a B-. Reese-Shea is my 4th ranked prospect, and you took him #1 overall. And I just feel like he's not going to make so much of an immediate impact right away in Atlanta. And I don't really know what they're trying to do with their timeline right now. They have Trae Young, they have DeJounte Murray. Are they trading one of them? Are they trading neither? Are they trading both of them this offseason? We're going to have to wait and see. I feel like there's going to be some growing pains in Reese-Shea's game, which is completely fine. That's to be expected. When you're the #1 overall pick, you're held to a higher standard, and I'm afraid that Reese-Shea may not live up to those expectations over the first couple of years of his career. But hey, I hope I'm wrong. At number two, so honestly, I think that was a fair assessment. Maybe B- was a little bit too low, and I said I think there's going to be some growing pains, which I think there have been, but in my opinion, Reese-Shea has impressed me a ton in his rookie year. I think he's an all-rookie first-team guy. I think he's going to probably finish with the 2nd best rookie season in 2025. And we also had no idea what direction they were going into basically after the draft. Now we know that they traded DeJounte Murray for Dyson Daniels, and that trade has aged perfectly for them so far. I had him ranked as my 4th best player in the class, and hey, in 10 years from now, we could look at him as the 4th best player from this class. That is definitely a realistic scenario, but I do think I was a little bit harsh. But then again, I was giving the #1 overall pick of the NBA draft when we've had track record of #1 picks for the last 5 years a B-. But yeah, like I said, I'm a little bit too harsh. I don't think that's aged the best, but I think that was far from the worst evaluation after that selection. The Washington Wizards ended up getting Alex Sarr, my top player in the 2024 NBA draft. I'm giving this an A. Sarr, like I said, is my #1 prospect in this draft. He can do it all defensively on the perimeter, super quick and agile for someone that's 7 feet tall, and he can also rim protect at a very high level as well. The Wizards kind of shocked everybody when they traded Deni Avdija a couple hours before the draft started. Not really sure why they decided to do that, but hey, they ended up with the 14th overall pick as well. They got a 1st-round pick later in 2029 from Portland, and also Malcolm Brogdon in that deal, so this team is going to look a little bit different next year. It's a shame because I wanted to see some Sarr at the 5, Deni at the 4. It seems like Sarr wants to play the 4. This team definitely needs to add a 5, but in my opinion, Sarr, best player in this draft, and you got him at #2. That warrants an A. And my okay, so yeah, I think that's fine so far. It was head scratching when they traded away Deni Avdija, and Bub Carrington being a productive rookie makes that trade look a little bit better. I would want Deni on my team, but I know why the Wizards did that, trying to sell high on his value, and he's going to command a lot of money when the Wizards would have been maybe at the end of the rebuild. But yeah, I still am very high on Alex Sarr. I knew it was going to be an up and down rookie year, but I still think he has some of the best, if not the best, long-term potential out of anybody in this draft. Yeah, this one's going to be funny to look back on. 3rd ranked prospect in this draft, Reed Sheppard, went 3rd in this draft, and you got him at #2. That warrants an A. And my 3rd ranked prospect in this draft, Reed Sheppard, went 3rd. Yeah, so this is also going to be an A. I'm a huge Reed Sheppard fan. This guy could do it all offensively, especially downtown. This guy can knock down threes, spot up, off the dribble, coming off screens. They could be guarded. They could be unguarded. He's going to knock them down at a very high clip no matter what. He can also play make. He could do a bunch of little things off the dribble. And I also think he can hold his own defensively as well. He had 5 games last year where he had 5 steals or more at Kentucky. So he's going to be just fine, in my opinion, on that end of the floor. I'm a big fan of Reed Sheppard, and I'm excited to see where Houston is going to plug and play him over the next couple of years. Like I said, it's an A. #4. All right, so maybe not the most exciting rookie year for Reed Sheppard, just a lack of playing time for a team that's most likely finishing, the #2 seed in the Western Conference this season. And hopefully going forward, Reed Sheppard, either it's in Houston or he's traded in the offseason, is just going to see more playing time, because we all loved him coming out of Kentucky. He had such a good summer league, and we just didn't see consistent playing time. There was that game against OKC this year where they had a ton of injuries, and he really showed out, and I think he could still be a very crafty scorer in the league. And this could be one of the grades that I look on at the time and it was an A, and maybe it doesn't age well. Or in like 3 years from now, I could be like, you know what, after Reed Shepard's rookie year, that could have been a C, but then it turns into an A over year 2, year 3, and year 4 of his career. He's still very young in this league, but after year 1, you would have liked for it to be a little bit better, more so due to more playing time.
Stephon Castle to the San Antonio Spurs. This was kind of chalky as well. I mocked these picks accurately 1 through 4. Different story after that, but I'm going to give this pick an A as well. I'm a big Stephon Castle fan. He was a winner this past season at UConn. He has incredible court vision and feel for the game. For somebody at his age coming out of UConn, he can play off ball, he can cut, he could slash, he could pick up a team's best offensive player on the defensive end of the floor, and San Antonio needed that, right? They needed somebody that can help them out on that end of the floor, as well as someone that can facilitate offensively.
And I think that's pretty good take so far about Stephon Castle, and pretty much accurately described his rookie season. And it also helps out playing under Chris Paul. Like, I didn't know they were getting Chris Paul, and that has done wonders for his development, and then also being able to play with Wemby.
Play off ball to Wemby, and they got that in Stephon Castle. Number 5, Detroit kind of shocked a lot of people, including me, when they went Ron Holland out of the G League Ignite. I have Ron Holland as my second best player in this 2024 NBA draft class, and there was a plenty of mocks that were having Holland go outside the lottery or outside the top 10. I had him going basically 12 to OKC in my official mock draft that you guys watched, so I was kind of shocked when he went 5th, but I am a very big fan of this because Ron Holland, my second ranked prospect in this draft, in my opinion, is the most athletic player in this draft. You were going to have so much fun watching him, Pistons fans. In transition, this dude is a strict bucket. He could switch on the defensive end of the floor. There are some questions with his jumper, but Fred Vincent, who is the new shooting coach there, should be able to fix it. It's a little bit of a wonky release. I think it's going to be okay. And I think he's going to be a perfect complementary piece to Cade Cunningham. So yeah, I'm going to give this an A as well. Now it's 6.
All right, so yeah, I feel bad to the Reese Shea pick because I gave everything after that an A, basically. And Ron Holland, yeah, shocked a lot of people, went there at 5. I think you would have liked maybe a little bit more polished offensive game in his rookie year. I love the defense. I didn't really factor in the bad boys like enforcer aspect to his game this year, and I think that's really made him a fan favorite in Detroit. Pistons fans, you could let me know, how would you grade out Ron Holland's rookie year? Because 5th overall is high. Like, yeah, he went ahead of Matas Buzelis and Khalil Ware and Jared McCain, guys that maybe you like better long term. I love Holland's defense. I think I had a good evaluation on his athleticism, saying that he was the most athletic player in this class, or one of. I think it's just going to be big for the rest of this rookie contract. How is that offensive game going to develop? There was a game this year when Cade Cunningham didn't play. He had 20 points, and I think he could really be an effective downhill scorer. And I'm excited to watch him and Asar Thompson defensively still. Like, it was a lot of fun to watch this year. It's just, hopefully they develop shots, because then it could really look like it's in a new tier going forward.
Charlotte, they apparently could have traded down with Memphis or a team like Portland trying to get up and guarantee themselves Donovan Clingan. They were rumored to do so, but then they opted not to do that, and they took Dijon Salon, the forward from Cholet. I'm going to give this a C+. I had Salon ranked outside my top 20, and I actually don't hate the fit in Charlotte. It's just a little rich for me at number 6. I think he's going to be able to space the floor, defend a little bit. I do think there's a limited upside there, and I think if there's a chance you could have taken him at 9 and you could have accumulated some extra draft capital in return, I would have done that. Maybe they thought that San Antonio was going to take him at 8, but either way, I was just not a huge fan of Salon going 6, which is a shame because I really like the direction that the Charlotte Hornets are going in. I would have loved Reed Shepard on this team. I would have loved Ron Holland on this team, or Stephon Castle. Salon, not as much immediately, but hey, I could be proven wrong. Coming in at number...
All right, so yeah, I think Salon, we're realizing this year, 2 years away from being 2 years away. There were glimpses this year, but I do think he's way more of a developmental project than maybe they would have liked, or maybe that everybody expected. Maybe in hindsight, like if they knew they were going to trade away Mark Williams, maybe they didn't. You take Donovan Clingan, makes you feel a little bit better about moving Mark Williams at the deadline. But yeah, they went Salon, probably the worst pick out of the top 10 or one of right now. So I'm glad I gave it my lowest grade so far. But I do think for Salon, it's not more so after his rookie year. We can come back to this in 4 to 5 years because he was far from NBA ready to really step in and be a top 10 rookie in his first year.
Number 7, with the Portland Trailblazers getting Donovan Clingan. Yeah, I'm going to give this an A as well. I absolutely love this pick for them. Donovan Clingan can be a rock-solid center for them long-term with Denny Avdia at the 4, with Scoot Henderson at the 1. And he could be better than DeAndre Ayton as a whole next year. I mean, Ayton's a good offensive center. Clingan's a good defensive center. It just gives you some insurance. Now they can move on from Time Lord this offseason as well. You gave up a little bit to go out and get Denny Avdia, so I hope that he can play well with Donovan Clingan. I believe he can, but I'm a big fan of Clingan, and I love the fit in Portland. So it's getting an A. A lot of A's here in the top 10.
All right, so I think I've done a fairly good job grading out every pick there in the top 7. I think I was a little bit harsh on Reese Shea. I said, yeah, they should move Time Lord in the offseason. He's still on their team basically a year later.
Minnesota shocked everybody when they traded away a 2031 first round pick and a 2030 pick swap with the San Antonio Spurs for pick 8. We saw Minnesota jump up into the top 10. They selected Rob Dillingham with the 8th overall pick. I'm going to be giving this a B+. I actually love this for Minnesota, don't get me wrong. I think it's a little risky trading these draft picks down the line when you have no idea how your roster is going to look by then for somebody who has never played a single moment in the NBA. But Dillingham could be a true microwave scorer. This guy could heat up at any time. He is one of the better shooters in this draft class. He's not going to start over Mike Conley, but now they have maybe a successor under the wings for Mike Conley because he's getting up there in age. Monty Morris is a free agent. Rob Dillingham could be that guy for him, and he could be a nice offensive spark plug next to Anthony Edwards in that backcourt. And at number...
Yeah, I think it's been up and down for Dillingham this year. The defense didn't look great at times, but man, I do believe there's a good microwave score for him. Now, I'm not really sure if he's going to be a long-term starter in this league, but maybe he's just going to be a good bench scorer, which is more than fine. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a Kobe White career arc at this point. Yeah, they mortgaged that future first-round pick down the line. I think Dillingham would have looked a little bit better in San Antonio. Definitely would have had more playing time. I think it's not really fair to judge that one like Reed Shepherd just because there was just a lack of playing time this year. Who knows? Maybe he's a Phoenix Sun next year if they get Kevin Durant.
Number 9, Memphis took Zach Edey. Yeah, I was a little shocked with this one as well. I'm going to be giving it a B-. So I don't love this pick as much as some other ones. I mean, Edey is a fine player. Don't get me wrong. He was one of the best players, if not the best player in college basketball last season. And I think for Jaren Jackson Jr., it's going to be great. He's going to get some open looks more on the perimeter. Same with Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart. What I don't love for this is Ja Morant's game because I do think the paint is going to be clogged up a lot more with Zach Edey not really being able to be a useful player outside the paint. So why are teams going to try to be guarding him on the perimeter when they could just kind of hang around in the paint that can try to protect the rim against any Ja Morant drive? So that's why I'm not a huge fan of this. And are you going to play him in a playoff series? We'll see. Lot to have to kind of be unfolded over the next couple of weeks and throughout the NBA season. So I'm going to be a little bit conservative here and give it a B-. The Utah Jazz.
So this one is going to be fascinating to look over the course of time because at the beginning of the year, that was kind of true with Ja Morant not being able to get good looks in the paint. And you can really just counteract that by just calling ball screen after ball screen. But in that Taylor Jenkins offense, they were not really using a lot of pick and roll at the start of the year. And I think this could change Edey's outlook on this team going forward with a new head coach. I do think this is going to be some of the best Edey basketball we'll see in his career. Like, he's NBA ready. He was a 4-year player, a little bit on the older side. I'm not really sure how much better Edey's going to get than his rookie year, where he's been a top 10 rookie. But honestly, I'm not surprised of that because he was NBA ready coming out of Purdue. But will Edey ever become like a consistent three-point shooter? Will he get a little bit more mobile there in the paint and on the perimeter? I'm not really too confident I could say so. So like I said, this is going to be a very fascinating one just to look how that pick ages over time since it was a top 10 pick.
Guys, thinking,
and also for Edey too, like the Brandon Clark injury allowed him to maybe have more of a role in meaningful games this year.
Cody Williams at number 10. I'm going to give this a B. This is right around the range where I would draft Cody Williams as well. He's someone that I think could be an immediate impact defender right away. It'll be an interesting fit with a lot of forwards and bigs there in Utah right now with Clarkson, Sensabaugh, Hendricks, Larry Markkinen. That big decision. Obviously, you do have Walker Kessler at the 5 as well, so I'm glad they went with somebody like Cody Williams. I wonder how he's going to be with his aggressiveness right away. Is he going to be able to not turn over the ball? Is he going to be a consistent shooter? Something he wasn't in high school, but was last year in Colorado. A lot of question marks with this game, but that's the appeal to it. High boom potential, high bust potential. At number 11.
All right, so that is fair. I like the fit in Utah. Like, I liked him under Will Hardy. I think it could have been, honestly, we would never really have seen him on some other teams if he was taken not by the Utah Jazz. I would say when he was out there, he was one of the worst rookies this year. Also one that could really change his value over the course of time. It's just in Utah, like, there's a lot of young talent, and like, we'll get to Collier in these draft grades, and you talk about George and Hendricks coming back and Sensabaugh taking strides this year. Kessler, all these guys, they're going to have like 3 first-round picks again in the 2025 draft. So I wonder how much playing time and how much involvement Cody Williams is going to have in the offense in year 2.
11. Chicago got Montes Buzelis. I'm going to give this a B+. I love the fact that they got Buzelis at number 11. I think if Buzelis went number 5, I probably would have given this a C+, but I'm more comfortable.
All right, man, just stop talking.
I'm happy that he went there around 11 because I think that's a fair range for him. He is a hometown kid from Chicago, so that is pretty cool. And now hopefully this is a new era of Chicago Bulls basketball. Josh Giddey, Dosunmu, Kobe White, and Montes Buzelis are the guys they're going to be building around. Hopefully DeMar DeRozan is gone in a sign and trade or something like that, and they can move Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic sooner rather than later. At number 12.
Yeah, I think Buzelis, B+, pretty good grade. I wouldn't say he was a top 5 rookie, but I think based off this year, you may think he has top 5 potential out of anybody in this class. And I'm glad they didn't take a guard in hindsight there. Yeah, they moved LaVine midway through the year. They moved on from DeRozan. Vucevic is still on the team, but I'm excited to see Buzelis in year 2 because I think he really took some strides in the second half of this year. And I think it helped a ton playing with Josh Giddey there in Chicago.
12, the Thunder took Nikola Topic. I was a little shocked by this. I'm going to be giving this a B. I love Topic as a player, top 10 prospect for me. I thought this was a weird fit for OKC with plenty of win now guys on the board, like a Dalton Connect, like a Devin Carter, like a Jared McCain, like a Khalil Ware, who could help this team in the playoffs next year. They still need size.
I probably listed off a couple players there that maybe they should have taken.
They still need a tall shot creator out there that could be adjacent to Jalen Williams. I don't think Topic is going to really play all that much in his rookie year. Obviously, Sam Presti, the general manager, has a type. You look at your Ousmane Jangs of the world. You look at your Alexis Pukaszewskis of the world. He likes these European guys that come over, and I'm going to give it a B for now. Devin Carter.
Yeah, I guess maybe a little too generous. I like Topic, though, as a prospect, but then unfortunately at the end of the Mega Basket League, he ended up tearing his ACL. So didn't play at all this year. Also, another player, I wonder what the playing time is going to look like next year. With the Thunder having all this talent, they're basically bringing everybody back. They're going to have 1 or 2 first-round picks this year as well in the 2025 draft. So, yeah, I'm not sure if Topic is going to get a ton of playing time, and I hope this isn't like an Ousmane Dieng 2.0, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Going to the Sacramento Kings at 13. I love this value for the Sacramento Kings. I'm giving this an A-. Devin Carter is your do-it-all type of guard. He's someone that's going to die for loose balls, crash the offensive glass, knock down big threes, and that's something Sacramento needs as any playoff team would, right? Like, you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Domantas Sabonis as your top 2, but let's get the gritty guys that are going to do the dirty work for you in Devin Carter, and they're adding him to Keon Ellis as well out there, and Davion Mitchell. Yeah, they could have went a wing. Yeah, they could have went a big, but in my opinion, they went best player available, and that was Devin Carter. At 4,
yeah, I like Carter, and maybe they should have taken the hometown kid in Jared McCain. With hindsight, I still think Carter could be an effective player. Like I said, could do the dirty work, be a gritty guy. I didn't know he had that shoulder injury, which basically kind of derailed his rookie year. Like, he comes back, misses the first half, and maybe he's playing not at 100%. They trade away De'Aaron Fox. I hope he's still involved in this team next year, but at times this year didn't really look the best, and he's on the older side.
14, this is the Washington Wizards pick that they got in the Denny Avdija trade. This is via the Golden State Warriors that Portland originally owned, and they took Bub Carrington out of Pittsburgh. I'm going to give this a B grade as well. I was kind of shocked to see Carrington go above Jared McCain and Isaiah Collier. Obviously, Collier was...
I'm not sure what I actually meant to give it, but I'm going to hopefully say I meant to give it a B+.
That slid a decent amount. And I really love Bub Carrington as a prospect, and I'm really happy he's going to Washington, D.C. because he's someone that was not really a point guard ever in his career until his freshman year at Pittsburgh. He wasn't one in high school. He's one of the younger guys in this class. Can play the 1, can play the 2. Great size, great speed, great athleticism, beautiful looking pull-up jumper from the mid-range, and I think he's someone that can facilitate as well. So this is a good pick in my opinion. Miami going with Khalil Ware at 15. I have
a feeling I'm not going to love this pick.
Give this a B-. I do like Khalil Ware as a prospect. He was a top 20 prospect for me, but I thought Miami could have used a guard like Collier, like McCain, who were on the board, or a more athletic scoring wings they could definitely use as well, like a Tristan Da Silva or a Dalton Connect. But they opted for Khalil Ware, who has a ton of athleticism. I just wonder how many minutes you're really going to get out there with him and Bam Adebayo at a time, and that question is really going to mark this down to a B-.
Okay, I think that's fair. I had question marks about the fit. I think a lot of people did, and we're learning that they could play together because Khalil Ware could space the floor. Bam was open to taking more threes for better or for worse this year. I mentioned Collier could have been a good fit in Miami. Maybe not better than Khalil Ware long term, but I think as a player they need to initiate the offense right now. You can let me know, Heat fans, would you rather have Khalil Ware, who I think is going to end up on our rookie first team, or Jared McCain, who maybe was going to win Rookie of the Year if he never got hurt? Probably better in hindsight they didn't take a Dalton Connect or a Tristan Da Silva, though.
I love Philadelphia getting Jared McCain at 16. It's going to be an A- for me. McCain is someone that can come in right away and knock down big shots. He did that at Duke last season and can be a great complementary piece to Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, and can now give you more continuity with a roster that's usually having some crazy turnover every single year. But McCain can be a stable piece with Maxey and Embiid for years to come. At 17,
I think that was a pretty good assessment right there about Jared McCain. I had no idea he was going to be that good, though.
The LA Lakers got Dalton Connect. Yeah, this is great value. I'm giving this an A+. This kind of reminded me a little bit of Cam Whitmore last year. I thought Connect was going to be a for sure lottery pick. He falls to 17. He's going to be a great shooter for this Lakers team, a great shot creator. He's not a great defender, and the game could be a little slow to him right now, or at least he plays in a slower way than he needs to at the NBA level. But I think the value is there 100% for the Lakers, who in my opinion got a top 10 guy with the 17th overall pick.
Yeah, so I think for the Lakers too, like, Connect has had his moments this year. He's on the older side, so I'm not sure how much better and involved he's going to be on this Lakers team going forward. He was almost a Charlotte Hornet at the deadline. I mean, Khalil was off the board, but given the Anthony Davis trade, I'm sure they would have loved a Khalil Ware. And then also like maybe Yves Missi in hindsight if they wanted this athletic rim running big. But I think Connect has given them some good moments this year. A+ was a little bit rich, but I still think Connect has provided them some value rotational minutes for the Lakers, and I think has fit JJ's system in an okay way. Maybe not the best, maybe not the worst in the world.
18, Orlando took Tristan da Silva. I love Tristan da Silva as a prospect. He's one of my guys in this draft. I don't really love the fit in Orlando. They have so many of these wings that I feel like just aren't knockdown shooters specifically, or could navigate off ball screens at a really high level. So I'm going to give this a B- as well. I love da Silva as a prospect, kind of similar to the Khalil Ware grade. I just thought they could have went in a different direction. At 9,
Yep, I think that's fair. I think da Silva actually had some productive minutes this year for the Magic, but I wonder if he's not going to be this consistent 3-point shooter. How does he fit on a team that really doesn't have many shooters in general?
Toronto went Jacoby Walter. I'm going to give this a B+. Walter, like Cody Williams, like Buzelis, Holland in this class, an extreme boomer bust prospect. He could be someone that could definitely benefit from being in the G League this upcoming season, and I think Toronto is a perfect place where he could develop. I think he could be a good defender right away, a good shooter, and as he gets a better feel for the game, he could maybe be a 3-level scorer one day rather than just a 3D prototype.
And he's a crazy good athlete as well, and I think, he did spend time in the G League this year for the Raptors, and I think has benefited from it, and has been a good shooter as of late, so I think that was a pretty good evaluation and grade for that pick there from Jacoby Walter to Toronto.
Number 20, people thought maybe this would be Bronny James. It was Jalen Tyson out of Cal, a different Pac-12 school, going to the Cavs. And I'm going to give this a B+. I am not a fan of the Cavs wings right now outside of Max Strus.
I don't know if that take has really aged the best.
Not a fan of Dean Wade. I'm not a fan of Georges Niang or Karis LeVert at the money he's making. So I love the addition of Jalen Tyson, someone that could be a gritty guy for you in the playoffs, that is going to want contact, that's going to want physicality, that can get to the rim and finish at the rim, and is someone that is also going to crash the offensive glass and defensive glass much better than those aforementioned forwards that I'm not really a big fan of.
At 20, I think that's fair. Tyson didn't really get a ton of playing time this year. Makes sense, though. This team is going to win over 60 games, the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference this year. I didn't know that they were going to trade away some of their wings for DeAndre Hunter, who I obviously love on that Cavs team, but I think Tyson is going to have a lot more playing time going forward. I could see them moving off as Isaac Okoro in the offseason because they're going to run into some apron issues, and Okoro's making a little bit of money, so I think they could save some money, try to go with the growing pains of Tyson next year in year 2, because he's not as good of a shooter as some of their wings. He's not as good of a defender as like Okoro is, but I think that can come over time.
21, this I feel like was the most predictable pick outside the lottery. Everybody mocked it, including me, and that's Yves Missi to the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm going to give this grade a B. I love Yves Missi and the addition of Yves Missi in New Orleans. I just wonder if he can ever work in the front court with Zion Williamson because neither of them can shoot. It's going to be the most athletic front court in the league, but it's also going to be a non-existing shooting front court, which I think has its question marks to it. The Phoenix Suns.
Fair. I think we can hit those question marks when we get there, but I think for the value, Yves Missi was a very productive rookie for them.
Traded down with the Denver Nuggets, who traded up to select Deron Holmes out of Dayton. They didn't have to give up too much in this deal, and I'm going to give Denver a B for this. I like getting the insurance for the backup big man. I mean, Zeke Naji was a disappointment last year. DeAndre Jordan's obviously getting up there in age, and now Deron Holmes can give you some stability off the bench. He can shoot a little bit, he can defend, he's got a nice post game, and I think he can play alongside Nikola Jokic as well. I
never got to see that, unfortunately. He tore his Achilles in the G League.
The biggest shot
in the summer league, excuse me.
Shocker for me in this draft was AJ Johnson going 23 to the Milwaukee Bucks. He was outside my top 50. In my opinion, he's a 2 to 3 to maybe even 4-year project play at the NBA level. Milwaukee doesn't have the time for that, right? If they couldn't develop Marjon Beauchamp or Andre Jackson right away, guys that were much more NBA ready, I don't think they're going to do that in AJ Johnson. I think the game could be a little chaotic for him sometimes, and I think he could be a good scorer one day. I think he could be a solid defender right away. I just don't believe in the Milwaukee Bucks or Doc Rivers to really optimize his development right now when there was so many other NBA ready guys on the board like Terrence Shannon, like Tyler Kolek, like Kyle Filipowski, Kevin McCullough. All those guys were there. So yeah, this is going to be my worst grade. I'm going to give it a D+.
Okay, that harsh, but I'm not giving a D+ on the player. I said that I liked AJ Johnson in the long term, but he's somebody you have to really focus on his development, and I don't think I'm really wrong there in hindsight. I think he showed some flashes in the summer league. I remember I had people, I even tweeted out that I thought Bronny James was more NBA ready than AJ Johnson. I remember getting so many tweets about that from Bucks fans, and I don't think I was wrong there because the Bucks they didn't have time to develop AJ Johnson. That's why they traded him half a year into his career, and that basically proved me right there. And if Washington made that pick, I would have probably gave it a much better grade, because I love now that AJ Johnson's in Washington, where he can actually develop behind some good guards already, and they're going to just be more focused. They're okay losing games and really giving him playing time throughout the ups and the downs. So yeah, if I knew Washington made that pick, probably would have gave it a B or something like that. I just gave it a D plus because I had no faith in him in Milwaukee. He barely played in his rookie year, and like I said, I think they proved me right by trading him at the deadline.
New York Knicks traded down 2 spots with the Washington Wizards, who traded up here to select Keyshawn George out of Miami. I'm going to be giving this a B for them. And I'm glad George could develop in a place like Washington that's currently into a rebuild. He's going to be a 3-and-D prototype, and I think he's someone that can knock down some shots right away. There may be some lapses on the defensive end, but by year 3 and 4 in the league, he could be a solid rotational piece.
And I think he's been better in his rookie year than I expected. So yeah, I think that was a pretty fair assessment on that pick.
The Knicks took Bakomi Dadiet with the 25th overall pick. I'm going to give this a C. This was pretty much just
I should have gave this a D. I don't know. The Dadiet might be more of a raw prospect than AJ Johnson. Definitely more raw of a prospect. The Knicks were hoping that he was going to play overseas, basically, so they could save some money against the first apron. They were still trying to re-sign OG, and they made a trade for Mikal, and they wanted to bring back Isaiah Hartenstein. So if Dadiet was playing overseas, they could have saved a little bit of money there. He is the most underpaid or cheapest first-round pick here that they were able to agree on. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think he's really going to develop in New York after this year, and Tibbs is never going to play him.
A money-saving move for the Knicks. They're probably hoping that he's just going to be a draft and stash. I mean, this is a team that needed to save money. I love what the Knicks have done this offseason, getting Mikal Bridges, re-signing OG Anunoby, but for this draft pick specifically, it's going to be a C. Dadiet is a huge project play. I have no idea when he's going to be really an impact player for a playoff team. It may not happen until 2029, who knows? And then
honestly, yeah, years away, I think.
The Knicks traded the 26th overall pick to the OKC Thunder for 5 second-round picks. I knew Leon Rose was going to do this. I was so disappointed throughout the draft stream. I'm going to give the OKC Thunder a B- for this. I actually like Dylan Jones, and I liked his tape a ton watching him at Weber State this past season, and I think he's someone that could be a crafty scorer for OKC that desperately needs one off the bench. I thought they could have went with that style of play at number 12. They opted not to do that. They get Dylan Jones at 26, and if Sam Presti likes Dylan Jones, then I probably should like him a little bit more. So I'm going to give it a B- just because they had to trade up 5 seconds for him.
Not the most encouraging, I think, rookie year from Dylan Jones. A little bit on the older side. I think AJ Mitchell was a little bit more of an impact player. I mean, I'm talking about Nikola Topic scraping for playing time next year. I'm not sure how it's going to look for Dylan Jones.
Shannon Jr. going to the Timberwolves at 27. It's funny. Maybe they didn't even have to trade for Rob Dillingham because Collier is still on the board. But I love this pick for them. This is going to be getting an A-. Terrence Shannon, one of the more NBA-ready players in this draft class. He could defend. He could shoot. He could score off the dribble. And I think could be a great bench piece for a Timberwolves team that's trying to win a championship in 2025.
Phoenix, this is before the Cat trade, and I think this year, just not a lot of playing time. Showed the athleticism for sure. I think next year he should get more playing time because Naz Reid, Randall, all basically free agents. Who knows if Conley's going to be in this rotation next year. So hopefully by default, we could see more touches a night to TSJ.
Traded down with Denver and got Ryan Dunn at 28. Yeah, this is an A for me as well. I love this from Phoenix, getting the best defender in this draft, in my opinion. Best defender on the perimeter, best defender on the point of attack, and one of the better interior defenders in this class by trading down as well, getting some other draft capital, which is nice to see. And hopefully he's just locked in the gym with Kevin Durant, Beal, and Booker this summer that can teach him how to shoot. And then
his shot wasn't the best this year, but I think he was an impactful rookie, and I think they did a good job with this class with Oso and Dunn. It's just they were thrown into maybe the worst situation this year in terms of expectations and actually reaching those expectations in year one.
Jay Collier going 29 to the Utah Jazz. He was my 9th ranked prospect in this draft. It's an A+. I mean, the value is just there. I don't know why he went this low. I don't know if there's a character issue, a medical issue. He is way too talented to go this far into a draft that's relatively weak. Collier can get to the line at will. He could score in every aspect of the game besides the free throws, which obviously is something he needs to work on. I think he held his own fine defensively this past season, and I think he's a good playmaker as well. Solid rebounder. I'm still in shock that he went 29.
Then all right, A+, honestly, for Collier, who's going to be a top 10 rookie this year. And honestly, I've been so impressed by the playmaking, which I think was a little bit like pushed to the side at USC because he had to be like that number one scoring option for them. It was like him and Boogie Ellis there, and obviously Bronny didn't play a ton at USC. But yeah, I think Collier could still be a good guard in this league. I wonder if he's going to be the opening night starting point guard for their team next year. I wonder if they draft a point guard in the 2025 draft. But really encouraging year one stuff for Collier, who I'm glad has proved me a little bit right so far.
Celtics getting Baylor Shireman at 30. I love this. I'm giving this a B+. I would have rather the Knicks take him at 25, and I think this is a phenomenal pick for the Celtics at 30 that can give you some Sam Hauser insurance if he gets paid by a different team that you can't afford on, and then he can also come in and shoot and replace Hauser, but can also be a pretty good playmaker as well.
So yeah, I guess I didn't know that Hauser was going to get extended, and Sharman didn't really get to play a lot in his rookie year, but probably would have been a little bit more impactful for the Knicks than Bakomi like I mentioned. So yeah, that is going to be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy me reacting to my 2024 NBA draft grades. I loved evaluating this class because I thought it was super challenging to do, and it was kind of like the first real draft class that I went all the way in on. I got to go to the Combine that year as well, and really get to see those guys up close and in person. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know down below. Drop a thumbs up if you guys enjoy, and subscribe for my 2025 draft content. That's going to be rolling out until the 2025 draft, which I'll be live streaming on, and then we'll do a 2026 way too early mock after that. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.